Democrats want you to believe that the Hunter Biden story is having no impact. Wrong! The Democrats would love to believe that Hunter Biden is not getting any traction. We put a media kibosh on the story. How could anybody possibly believe it? They've got people running around going, Hunter Biden's story is a fake. It's a total fake. It's a Russian conspiracy. They have called out all the dogs on this story, and nobody's buying it. Nobody's buying that the Russians took a computer, put pictures of Hunter smoking crack, pictures of Hunter with underage girls, put pictures of Hunter with emails that have been validated now by the crooked FBI run by Christopher Wray, and they want you to believe that the Hunter Biden story, it's a farce, man. How could you possibly believe it? So Frank Luntz, who's a total lefty, he does all these the focus groups and all that stuff, and he's a lefty. I know Frank Luntz. He pretends to be neutral. Frank Luntz is a lefty, trust me. And he did a focus group, and of course he's thinking, oh, the Hunter Biden story, they put the kibosh on it. Anytime somebody wants to talk about it, social media just throws them to the wolves. Social media says, aha, Kevin Jackson's Facebook page, you're not going to get to post for 3 days because you posted a story about Hunter Biden. That is a true story. So we posted another story after our 3 days was over. Guess what? We got another 3-day ban. They don't want you to post anything about Hunter Biden. Why? Well, Frank Luntz talked to a group of people, he and the LA Times, and they wanted to see what supposed undecided voters believed about Hunter Biden. And it blew their minds. Here's the clip.
You know, you guys have all talked about the emails tonight and Hunter Biden, the emails, and wanting to hear more about that. I'm just curious as to whether or not that's affecting your decision.
Yes.
That's actually a deciding issue for you in this election at this point. Thanks.
Okay, let's do a show of hands. Hold on, we're going to do a show of hands first. Who says that it is the deciding issue for you? The deciding issue. One person. Who says
I'd say
that, John, is a deciding issue for you? The deciding issue?
yeah, I'd like to know. I mean, we talk about all these things about lying and cheating and stuff. Here's something that popped up. Is it truth or is it not truth? I want to know.
The fact that he doesn't want to answer it scares me, and that's why it's one of my biggest deciding issues. That and fracking. It's a simple question, and he's been avoiding it, and I don't know why. And now it's always been a different answer. Well, that doesn't exist. And then he mentioned his other son, and obviously it was in the last debate he was talking about obviously Hunter. Like the answer always changes. I want an answer on it. And also what scares me is that the media refuses to talk about it. You get shut down on Facebook and Twitter if you even see the link or something. That's scary to me, and I think it deserves an answer.
Yeah, and the biggest question is, why isn't the media doing this? We have 12 days to make a decision, and this is a very important topic, and nobody seems interested in it.
I find it scary.
If it were Trump, they would be all over it. The media would be all over this. That is what is concerning as well. And I would say the other thing that is concerning, even though this is not a big issue for me, is that for a man who's saying he wants to bring back the soul of America and is relying on his character for votes, this is something that would make the normal, reasonable person question character.
And we don't want to be drugged through 3.5 more years of the same stuff.
And this man is being accused of using his drug-addicted son to be a bagman with shady characters all over the world. I mean, you would think you'd want to address that.
I totally agree with Paulette. That is definitely a thing for me. Like, it's a yes or no, and to me, it could be pretty cut and dry because, as a parent, I understand you can raise your children a certain way. That does not mean that they're going to carry themselves a certain way.
But you never stop caring about them. If you had that kind of money and connections, when you get them in the best rehab in the world,
definitely get them help or push them to reform.
Here's my friend, this shady character from, I don't know, Uzbekistan or something out in the middle of the desert, with bags of money. I mean, my gosh, who'd put their kid in a situation like that?
Right.
But the press needs to do its job.
Now, what I want you to understand from this video is it begins with one person One man, when they asked the question, does the Hunter Biden story impact you? And the one guy who's supposed to be an undecided voter says, yeah, me. It impacted me. I did. I've got problems with this. And then Frank Luntz was like, okay, so we got one. Wait a minute. No, there's two. And another guy chimes in. And so the first guy says, Biden's things bothered me. Two things bothered me. One, he didn't want to answer the question about Hunter Biden. And two, fracking. Two was fracking. So Hunter Biden not answering questions, blah, blah, blah. Then he circled back and says, you know what else bothered me about that? The media lockdown, the media blackout of this story. That bothers me. That concerns me. We should be talking about any of these issues, particularly something this big. So then there were two. Let me see what the second one said here. He raised his hand and he says, you know what? It was the lying and the cheating. It's the lying and the cheating. In other words, this is what politicians do. They lie and they cheat. And he doesn't realize it, but he's talking about the same thing the other guy's talking about. The media, everybody that's in a cabal, because they want us to believe that the Hunter Biden did all this on his own. And his father had nothing to do with it. Hunter the crackhead said, you know what, Dad, I've got aspirations of being a global partner in oil and gas and a host of other things. And I think I have the expertise, even though I have no ability in this area whatsoever. And if I could just tag along on Air Force Two, then it'll all be good. I'll go on my way, you do your thing, and never the two shall meet. And see, nobody's buying this nonsense. Nobody. So anyway, the second guy says lying and cheating. A third man then asks this question. I'm looking at this. He says, we have 12 days to make a decision, and the media is not even interested. Where's the media on this? This is a big deal. Now, I want you to go back. One guy raised his hand and said, it's a problem for me. Nobody else did. And then suddenly, second hand goes up. Yeah, it's a problem for me too. And while that was going on, then the third guy chimes in and says, I got a problem with this too. I got a problem. What they said, the media thing, that does bother me. I'm going to make a point. I'm making a point here, people. Stay with me. So at this point, a woman added, if this were Trump, the media would be all over this story. Now, we know this. Now, why have we been conditioned now to understand that if Biden does it, or if Chelsea Clinton does it, or if the Malia and Sasha does it, there's no story. We don't hear anything about any of the children of these other folks. We get Hunter Biden, who's on top of one of the biggest scandals in political history, involving his own dad, involving the entirety of the Obama administration, because you know what? Baby black Jesus, Barack Obama knew, and he let Biden do it. The State Department knew what was going on. They didn't care. Even when whistleblowers questioned the vice president about it, he's like, well, we've got bigger issues going on here. I mean, we've got all these other things that we need to be talking about. And they soft shoot it. And they want you to believe the public doesn't care. One guy, right? This one dude, hey, you know what? I kind of care. Then the second guy goes, now let me add to the mix. And then the third guy goes, wait. I got a couple of comments about it. Now we get a lady adding into it. And she says, if Trump would done this, they'd be all over it. And she says, and for a man, she added this later, she says, for a man who wants to bring back the soul of America, yeah, there we go, finger quotes, the soul of America, Joe Biden surely isn't representing the soul of America. Now let's circle back. What is the soul of America? The soul of America is, bring me your tired, your poor, your hungry, the huddled masses, yearning to be, you know the deal, and we'll embrace them, we will give them opportunity, etc. Well, you know what? That's for people that are willing to work hard, not for people who want to use their family name and their father's position so they can make millions and millions of dollars and negotiate deals that potentially could bring millions and millions of dollars to the family. And it's not limited to Hunter Biden. But I want to go on. So now let's circle back. One guy raises his hand. Second guy goes, wait, me too. Then the third guy chimes in and says, I got a problem too with this media thing. Now, a fourth lady's chimed in and says, if this were Trump, they'd be treating him differently. These are undecided voters. If this were Trump, they'd be treating this differently. We'd be all over this story. She realizes this. Do you understand how important that is, that at the undecided voter level, people know this is not the up and up. We're not treating this story the same way we'd be treating it if the shoe were on the other foot. She knows this. So then another woman comments, I'm reading it, she says, Biden should want to address the issue of her drug-addicted son being dragged all over the world. She later added something about Uzbekistan and bags of money. I wanted to just kiss her. I'll give her that kiss because she's right. See, she's getting to the core of the issue. Nobody brings their drug-addicted crackhead son around the world and lets him go negotiate things on behalf of the family and not know anything about it. It doesn't happen. And you don't get money dropped in your lap like that without your dad going, wait a minute. I mean, let me put it this way. If I had a crackhead son and I took him on a trip and we came back and he says, hey, Dad, I just want to let you know, I was able to get some deals done. Son, I don't really want to know what you're into. I just understand I got a lot of money coming. I got $3.5 million from a Russian oligarch and I got $183,000 a month from Ukraine. And I may need your help, extorting him at some point. I don't want to hear, but here's what I would be doing. You negotiated what? You got $183 million a month or $83,000 a month or whatever the number is. I don't care. I'm like, oh, Kamala Harris, 200 million people died. Whatever the amount is, if my crackhead son negotiated it, I'd be saying, wait a minute. Let's make sure the family name is not involved here. I would be looking into it. But Biden goes, no, I don't see anything. I got my mask on. I can't see nothing. So Biden wants us to believe that his son goes over there, does this, and it was just magic. It was magic. So this lady is calling him out on it. And then what gets me, the black lady, she comes in and she says, I agree with you. Well, you know what she's agreeing with? She doesn't even realize it. She's agreeing with the notion that if this were happening to the ordinary person, it doesn't happen. Everybody's sympathetic. I understand your kid. You want to help him. And the black lady, yes, yeah, I agree. Get him into rehab, do all this stuff. But you know what you don't do? You don't take a crackhead and you don't get him millions of dollars and give him access to all the things that are available to him, that now will come more available to him because he has money. You don't do it. You're feeding the beast. And we're going to learn more about this as the days goes on, but I'm just telling you, that's what this is really about. So let's recap. One guy raises his hand and says, I got a problem. Immediately, I got a problem. Frank Luntz says, okay, we got one. No, hold on. We got a second. Second guy raises his hand and says, I got a problem too. I don't understand all this. Then the third guy chimes in. Where the second guy says about the lying and cheating. Third guy adds the media question. 12 days to make a decision. Nobody wants to show anything. Lady chimes in, says, if you were Trump, what would the media be doing with this? That was the first question. And she says, and then Biden claims he's all about character. Well, let me tell you what this is making people understand about character before I finish the summary. Biden has no character. Biden is actually campaigning for Donald Trump, saying he's really the guy with character and he's trying to steal character. The guy who plagiarizes, the guy who says he was tops of his class when he was bottom of his class, the guy that claims that his wife was killed by a drunk driver when she wasn't, the guy that claims he's purer than the driven snow. He's had more affairs. He probably, what's her name? Jill, former Biden's husband, says he stole Jill from him. So he was screwing around on the guy who was supposed to be his friend, and that's how he meets Jill. And I could go on. The dude is a liar. He hangs out with segregationists, and he's not apologetic. He says the most racist and incendiary things. Let me put it another way, people listening to Kevin Jackson here. If this were Donald Trump saying and doing these things, none of us would be voting for him. Nobody. And these undecided voters that went from one to the second guy, to the third guy, to the fourth woman, or the first woman, to the second woman, to the third woman in a panel of whatever number of people who were quiet, is exactly what's happening around this country. Frank Luntz said, oh, it's not a big deal. This isn't a big deal. I actually heard him say the Hunter Biden story is not going to influence people. Are you out of your ever-loving mind? You think that people don't get this? And if you don't think that, 50 million people have already made up their minds. Yes, they have. And let me tell you, if they stop the election today, Trump wins in a landslide. They always want you to believe the sky's falling for conservatives, the sky's falling for Republicans. Donald Trump has already made his case to this country, and people know it. The kids coming out of college, the lesbian community, the LGBT community is going, I don't see the big deal. Donald Trump's got Rick Grinnell on his prominently in his administration, put him in charge of national security. And you're concerned. Joe Biden said, somebody, I believe he said, you can't even trust these people. Verify that, I don't know. But here's the point. Donald Trump says, I don't care about Rick Grinnell being gay. I don't care about Ben Carson being black. I don't care about, whomever being a woman, Betsy DeVos, or whatever. Go do your jobs. And that's what they do. And they do it regardless of anything. And you know what else? Donald Trump says, and I will make sure there is no impropriety with my kids or with myself in getting it done. If it costs us money, so be it. We are the soul and the character of this nation, not Joe Biden and not these crooked Democrats. So what happened was one guy raised his hand, 6 people chimed in. That's the soul of America. There's a video of a guy dancing in a park, and he gets up and he's dancing by himself and he looks like an idiot. Think of him as the guy that first raises his hand. Then suddenly that guy gets joined by another guy, and they're dancing together, and people are still looking like, well, what's the deal? But by the end of the video, everybody's dancing. Watch that video. Understand this, Democrats. That video is symbolic of exactly what's happening right now with Hunter Biden and his Hunter Biden email scandal. People are starting to raise their hands. People are starting to dance. And pretty soon, there's a whole dance fest going on, and everybody's dancing. That's what's happening right now. Those are the people that get it. And even though they go, it's not a critical issue, it's not a critical issue, I'm telling you, in the background mode, it's a critical issue. And the one lady goes, well, even though it's still not that big of an issue to me, I wonder what they would have done to Donald Trump. You know what they would have done to Donald Trump. And it may not be a critical issue, but it is an issue. And if you want to look at critical issues, name me a critical issue where Biden wins over Trump. If you're talking healthcare, I'd love to see how the Biden plan, which I love how you called it Biden care during the debate, how that's going to save you. It's nothing more, and Trump drove him home. 47 years. I'm going to act like I'm talking to Biden. 47 years. You've done nothing. 8 years under Obama. And all you do is say, we would have done this, we would have done that. You were the number 2. You could whisper in Obama's ear what needs to be done. And oh, by the way, Biden care. Do you remember when you whispered to Barack Obama, this is a big effing deal? And now you want to change it? Yeah. See, that's what we have here. We have a double standard for these leftists who are always acting as if they're holier than thou. Joe Biden wants you to believe he's the most pious son of a gun on the planet. He does it by the book. He would never cheat. I've never taken any money from a foreign country. No, but your son has, and he was setting it up for you, big guy. And guess what? Those so-called undecided voters, they have decided. I'll leave it there. Hey, everybody, I want to thank you for visiting my channel. I promise you, we're going to deliver some of the best videos you've seen, clever, insightful commentary, and things that you are going to be blown away by. So please keep checking back. Be sure to hit that subscribe button wherever it is. It might be over here. It could be over there. It's somewhere there. Hit that subscribe button and be sure to tell other people about Kevin Jackson and this channel. Thanks very much.